brace yourselves because this month's new moon and full moon are gonna be hard hitting. Why? We have a lot to unpack. I'm Ev Zervoudakis with Holistic Healing Astrology, and let's get into it. I am going to share with you the ephemeris that I love to use. And let's see here if I could do that. And here we go. And as always, if you have questions, put them in the comments below. I love the interaction because your question may be helping another person who has the same question. So how will this impact you? Let's find out. Well, first of all, on the 14th at 4:55 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, we have the full moon. Okay, so by definition, a full moon is when we have the sun opposite the moon. So the sun is in 24 degrees Pisces right here. And part of reading a chart is knowing the symbolism and what it means. And it's opposite or across from, opposing Virgo, moon. All right. Moon has to do with emotions, and the sun has to do with our will. And so there's like emotions. What do I do? My will. And this is a time when water is affected on the whole planet. And since we're high volume water, we get affected as well. So the symbology here has to do with Pisces, Virgo. Virgo has to do with our everyday life, but the practical, mundane side of the everyday life, the earthy signs, the plants and our food and anything that is of the earth, right? And how it serves us in a very practical and methodical way, and it's very detail oriented, right? That's the Virgo energy. And opposite of that is the time that we're alone and we're spiritual, and it's not practical at all. It's very woo-woo, and it's the dream state, hypnosis, things that we cannot see. And it's God and the Creator and the limitless capabilities of our being. So then there's the practical side and the spiritual side. So Pisces is very spiritual. It has to do with imagination and music and the likes. Now, if you see here, there's a huge lineup with this full moon. And good astrologers always look at the lineup. So we're going to look at a 10-degree lineup because that is considered a conjunction. Anything within 10 degrees means it's influencing the full moon. Well, the first thing we see here in close proximity is Saturn, 22 degrees Pisces. So Saturn represents homework, doing the right thing, doing the work, responsibility, duty. It's being reliable. The negative side could be negative thinking, could be pessimism, could be the hard reality of life. And it's also boundaries and blocks, being structured, methodical, achievement-oriented, time constraints or time issues. So Saturn is a good thing because without having these goals and boundaries and discipline and let's get it done thoroughly, completely, no cutting corners, then you get the rewards of Saturn, because Saturn is the great teacher as well. Lessons, great lessons, okay? It's the elder. It's the wisdom. So, older people have wisdom. Why? Because they've been around the block many, many years. So we have like a very Capricorn type of energy here. But then we have the North Node next to the Sun. So the North and South Node are always opposite one another, always guaranteed. We call that the nodal axis. And the North Node has to do with your purpose. The South Node has to do with what's familiar to you, your past or past life, if you believe in that. Okay? So we are to let go of our maybe old past habits that we want to get rid of, maybe that criticism, anything on the negative side of the Virgo, being overcritical, overanalytical, overthinking, all right, which will affect your emotions. And the purpose is very spiritual. We're in a very spiritual time. So this is your eclipse, and eclipses are what's going to set the stage for the next 6 months in your cycle, in your life. So it's a good time to do your spiritual cleanup. And maybe some old spiritual mundane things are going to come up during this eclipse, and you're going to let it go. So now's the time to let go of things that no longer serve you because it's a full moon. But the eclipse means something from the past may come up where you want to let go of it. Now, that's on the 14th. 2 weeks later, and I'll do another video of that, I promise. This is a lunar eclipse during a full moon. Now, in 2 weeks, by definition, there's always, because it's a natural cycle, always a new moon, which is this time it's going to be a solar eclipse. So when you have a lunar eclipse, the next new moon will be a solar eclipse. And that's when you do new beginnings and new projects. So get your intentions on paper. It's a proven fact that when you write it down, say it out loud. You don't have to tell other people because they could put the kibosh on it and say negative stuff to you, and you could take it in, and then it could mess up your idea, or it might give you doubts where you had all the certainty. So that's why you want to either talk to your therapist about it, and they should, give you a good, yeah, that a girl, that a guy, you could do this. So let's keep it going, all right? But there's another thing. There's another planet here, very close. These are very tight conjunctions, and it's Neptune in Pisces. Neptune's been in Pisces for a good long time, at least about a year, I'd say. Don't quote me on it, but we have a lot going on. And because Mars, the planet of action, has changed direction, and it's not going in reverse, it is, which is called retrograde in astrology. It is now moving forward. It's direct in astrology, and it's building up momentum because it's going fast. So like anything, if you're going forward in a car at 60 miles an hour, you can't just go reverse in 60 miles an hour. You got to slow it down where you're in neutral or stopped. That's called a station in astrology. And then you go back and you accelerate backwards until you hit the 60 miles an hour. And that's the way the motion goes. I'm breaking this down because so many of you don't really understand when we talk retrograde, direct, stationing. Most of my audience is new. And so forgive me if I'm going over stuff that you already know. but I want to make it crystal clear because I want to be thorough. And that is the Saturn. Saturn's being thorough right now. So we can't cut any corners. We can't skip. You have to understand this big picture, because I'm going to tell you why why this is so powerful for you. Because if it hits one planet in your natal chart, all this other stuff is also impacting on your natal chart. So let's say it's hitting a grand trine in your natal chart. You're going to feel it in 3 different areas. Or a T-square, you're going to feel it in 3 different areas, and it's going to make you do something. That's why it's important to know your natal chart and take your natal chart out. Okay? So, Neptune is the planet that rules Pisces, and it's 29 degrees, which means it's on steroids. It's overactive. So, because it's going to change into a new sign, it's going to leave Pisces, not to return to it for another over 100 years. We probably won't see it again. All right? So it's going into Aries, which shifts the energy. So it's like moving to a different state, going to a different country, going to a different restaurant to eat. It's a whole different vibe. So Pisces is a water sign and it's mutable. So it's like, go with the flow, that kind of energy. There's no plan, there's no structure, it's limitless. Aries, it's fire and it's cardinal. What does that mean? It's like, boom, it's a bullet. It's a spark, and it penetrates, it goes forward, it's assertive, it's aggressive. And what does that mean for you? Well, you're going to take action. Everybody's taking action. But what kind of action? You have to look at your chart and see, where is it impacting on your natal chart? First house, second house, third house. Which house? Is it impacting other planets? Is it your sun, your moon, your ascendant? If so, you're going to really feel it. Is it going to hit your nodes? So we have one of the most powerful eclipse seasons right now that's affecting the latter signs of water and earth signs, and the early degrees, 1 and 9 degrees of the fire and air signs. So look on your chart, and if you have anything that matches, bingo, that means something's up. All right? And if you need my help, it's in the description below. So, and on the other end here, on the other end of Neptune, there's a Venus-Mercury flavor, which Venus has to do with money, love, beauty, and this is communication, Mercury, messages, but they're spiritual in nature. So we have to put all that stuff together. And so there's always so much stuff going on. But Mars in Cancer is going to spark everything with communication, and it's just going to flow into this responsibility and what you want. So be due diligent. Get your journal out. I have my journal over here, and I'm always promoting it. Don't you love the cover? I created that cover. I'm very proud of my creative abilities, but that's because I have a very strong Neptune in my natal chart. So it makes me happy when I do creative stuff, like my courses and stuff, and even doing these videos. I love it. So you're going to write down in your journal, and I like to use creator, source, God, whatever you want to call it, and you will get amazing results. Amazing results. I don't like to talk much about myself, but when I hit rock bottom financially, and I had to reinvent myself, I tried reinventing myself about 5 other times after I left the hospital industry, the medical industry, because I had a sense that, something was going to happen. However, I didn't know what was going to happen, but you know what? It's the grace of God and putting that certainty beyond logic into my soul. And I was able to move through. But that's how I, developed everything that I'm doing now, my multiple streams of income. If you don't have multiple streams of income right now, get on it. It's very important because we're moving into a different time, age, and space, with AI, with all this futuristic stuff. So getting to the point of what else is very different with this eclipse, we can't forget this. We have not only the Neptune and Saturn conjunction that a lot of people are talking about, but we have, which is long time going. However, we have a trine, we have a grand sextile, which is 30 degrees. So we have a sextile here with this whole business, and another one with the Uranus, the change, sudden and unexpected changes. And then, so there's 3 of them. And they're going to last for 10 years with the Neptune, Pluto, Uranus. So here's Neptune, here's Pluto, and here's Uranus. Sextiles to one another. Sextile. So that is going to be very powerful because whenever Pluto rears his presence and he comes up from the underworld, Pluto, it's stuff that is revealed, secrets revealed. It's your privacy may be a little bit shook up or invaded, and it has to do with the underworld. It has to do with creepy crawly things. It has to do with atomic energy, nuclear energy, that kind of major transformation, which means that it's never going to be the same again. And it's in Aquarius, which is futuristic, which is AI, which is electronics, and all of the above that we are experiencing right now. So there are good and bad elements to everything in life. There's optimism and pessimism. So you choose what you're going to focus on. So who's going to get hit hard? Most everybody out there is going to get hit hard. But like I said before, if you have any earth signs, water signs in the, 24 degrees, 22 degrees, all the way up to 29 degrees in the water and earth signs, you're going to feel it. And with the new moon coming up on the 29th, you're going to have this 9 degrees Aries and 0 degrees Aries is going to be pivotal for you. Okay? So we're going to have also, because Mars is playing a role in this Pluto-Mars. It's a quintile, which is astrology aspect talk, meaning that there's going to be obsession and action, and it's going to have to do with nurturing our home life, our I care, what we care about with the family and the home life, okay? And so there might be some volatility there. So as we see here, we can't neglect we have Black Moon Lilith squaring, giving us a little bit of difficulties and conflicts where we have to work it out between Pluto, the major transformation, the losses, the endings, and relationships. So we might find that we'll be changing the relationships that we have due to all this information, all this spiritual growth, and Saturn is growth, okay? But it's for your purpose. This is part of your purpose right now, here and now. So, upcoming, we have the solar eclipse, and let's see if I could jump ahead quickly for you. That will be in 2 weeks, 1, 2. And that's when the sun and the moon are close together. So let me go back until the sun and the moon are close together. And let's go this way, the 29th, and let's make sure that they're close enough. And yes, they're both 8 degrees, but it will be 9 degrees, I believe. They'll be close enough. So 8 and 9 degrees if you're in Eastern Daylight Time, right here on the East Coast of the United States. And so if you have 0 degrees Aries, you see the line up here, even more energy, so we'll go over that in the next video about the solar eclipse, which will be a new moon. Get your journal, start writing in it, and let me know what's happening. And if you need anything from me, I put all the links inside the description. I thank you very much. All my love, you guys. See you next time.